The guy's done a whole round. 293 Long Fuang War. He watched his men fall like crows on the ground. He looked at the entire forest without any damage. Standing there, his face dropped. He's too fast. He is known for his speed. I didn't know he could be so fast. It makes people angry. Like this, it's really out of time. The power of 6 Long, it's basically not something that they can deal with. The only one who can right now. It's not here. He looked at the lost people in front of him. In his eyes flashed a ray of laughter. Soon Tian Ma Long is really dead. If not, if a situation like this doesn't even exist, it is. The turtle withdrew its neck. This word just ended. Everyone immediately trembled. The prize finally understood. They are the most likely target. They think he's hiding. That's why we use this kind of method to force him to show up. It's a shame he's not really here today. Suppress the suffering in the lost heart. Bite the teeth towards Lam Fulfeng. Say the power. If my family's butler track is here, what do you think? It's your turn to be arrogant. Lin Feng laughed. An hour you eye scrub. Looks like you guys really value the human stuff. But even if he shows up, he's dead. A young boy some world. Not 3 hours. Give the title around the ghost long. Reluctant to rank in the 5-6 longest Fuang category. The prince didn't even put it in his eyes. In the blink of an eye, he appeared in front of her. Is ordinary dung, mouth-licking pleasure. Put your hand to her mouth. It makes a sentence impossible. The sky is filled with fear. The same is the legendary master, but the speed difference is this big. 6 long and the usual false sky. It's a heaven. Lin Feng smiled with evil intent and laughed loudly. The great lady. If I were to enter the lady's tale. Is that the butler track? Will you be my servant? From now on, you must obey me forever. Don't touch my billions. Is the angry scum turns the attacker towards him. The sky with the leader. See that also together towards. He came down to allow your. Let our lady go. Sorry about their vi. It can't be compared to any person. In the 6 longest locals. The speed of the wind is too fast. Don't talk about people like them. Even if it's the sky, and the sky, and the sky. It doesn't compare to him either. So this battle. Lost people are predictable. The whole world looked at the people coming. A smile of contempt. These idiots don't know how to self-medicate. Dare to mess up in front of him. Today a moment. The sky is also in control. He swung a hand that could catch the leader. Then throw it at the sky. 2 people aggressive VA at each other. And flew out with a sip of fresh blood. There is also the sea. With 2 Vi, the plot of his 3 important scenes. The wind doesn't even keep an eye on it. He can easily move his feet to keep up with his speed. Trample him under your feet. Use the power to stomp on the feet of. It hurt him to bite his teeth. Is that dung is often afraid to look at it all. Urgently cry out to the sea. Her body just moved. The whole wind gave me the hand to catch me. Look at her. It's like the evil lady talking. Could you please join the ladies' party? The feces often bit his lips and looked at him. My eyes were red with fear. I looked at her without speaking. Lin Feng once again showed an evil smile at his feet. Immediately used the leg bone force of Van Hai. It's as if it's broken. Even though it hurts. But the dung still bite its teeth. In my heart. Not called. If he cries out, he'll be raped. Your face will also disappear. I think that the sea is still suffering. Without a sound. Even though his legs were almost trampled. I can see he never cried. The wind increased the strength in his legs. Laughing softly, an evil voice said, "Oh. That's too good." His feet used force. The thigh bone of Van Hai was completely broken. Van Hai is still biting his teeth without speaking. I was sweating cold on my head. The color of his face in a flash was pale without any blood. The Lord of Heaven saw this scene. Like a fire burning pain. Yelled out loud, "Young master." The wild animals are often afraid to cry out. The tears also began to flow. I see this one screen. Lin Feng also did not care to pout contemptuous lips. The weakest of these people is a bunch of trash. If there's no emerging monster, it's been rocking the universe for years. It is the most reliable. Don't tell me you can stand here and compete with the Seven Kingdoms. Even the second generation couldn't reach them. And here we are crying. Think about it, Lamb is aggressive. The white neck of ordinary pollination. The lake is starting to turn red. He screamed out his voice. Let the Lord enter your land. To become the owner of the world. What do you deserve? They often laugh coldly for an hour. Disdainfully look at him. Compared to the rest of the world, you are just dog shit. Not more than less. Don't say you're his master. You don't deserve to lift your shoes for him anymore. The poor woman invited him not to drink. I have heard this word of ordinary discrimination. It makes you angry. A chief who wants to fight towards the common divergence. Is that shit is still going strong right now? Not afraid on the one hand. Avoid the silence standing there. Everyone who sees this is in a hurry. I want to come to help as an uncaring force. The body can't move a bit. Suddenly right now. A piece of white silk tearing at the wind. Attacked towards Lam Fulfeng. He stopped moving in his hand. Disappeared in the blink of an eye. Pushed back a few steps. I was surprised to see who just showed up. Fei Tian Hanfuang, the tendency to, there's no business here, put your hands down. Things like bullying women for a long time. We absolutely do not allow it. A cold sound echoed. According to that, the female figure slowly appeared in front of everyone. There are also two owners of the dance floor. Women go to invest Taithu yet. Like a mortal fairy. Thin silk face covering. So, but the escape gas can't be hidden. Make people look stupid. The reward is to look at the woman in front of you. Not from feeling. She is so beautiful. Unexpected in this world. There is a woman out of the air like that. This person is the master. The most beautiful woman in my mouth. Finally, she also knew the most obvious words before. Are all real. The two old owners went to the next peanut van Offen. Do you care to ask Han van Offen? I often shake my head with a grin. I don't know. Thani billions items don billions. We met again after a long meeting of the allies. Ask 2 questions. People don't wait either. Go to the side. Get everyone on the ground up. It has been growing since the time it appeared. I didn't even look at them a bit. Just look coldly at Lin Feng on the opposite side. His cold eyes full of attention. The whole wind touched his nose. In my heart is not good. But outside the mouth, the tongue speaks. To touch the inclination. This place is not a long dance. It is not the land of the long dance. Don't worry about the money. Sorry, I'm used to worrying. It was cold for an hour. Disdainful laughing said. In the eyes unconsciously stopped. I laughed coldly if that was the case. Is guilty. The voice has ended. He immediately disappeared without seeing the shadow. It scares people endlessly. But the city is not worried. It's starting to move now. A chef's hit raw. Gas welding starts to hover around. Quick defrosting. That immediately formed a layer of cold fog. Even this season. The wind disappeared a second ago. It has slowly appeared. My whole body is surrounded by water. To feel this. His movement immediately stopped. Jerking myself backwards. Dare not move forward to stop the broken bones. I was scared to look at the person in front of me. Not from the Bible. Yuvi, your God is about to break through the magic. Didn't they say you wasted 15 practice days? I can't believe I caught up so fast. Of the 6 longest locals, you are also considered to be submissive. The tendency to, it's a representation of the phoenix. In the 6 longest phoenix, of course the power is not trivial. Before the retreat, she is really far away from 6 long. Because we have to deal with it for a long time. More than poisoned. That's why the vice stayed in place. But her genius is greater than yours. You can even beat some people in 6 long. So in 5 years, she was able to catch up with them, and she was not inferior. This tendency, the right name for the wonderful face. Real power high. More generous than those who are worthy of the phoenix. The color of the face has not changed. Coldly looking at him. If you knew the real difference between us like that. Why don't you leave? 290 for 6 longest phoenix confrontation. I saw him standing still. They tend to lose patience. Take a cold glance at him. Speak up and get out. Before the 7 nations fight, I don't want to cause anything. Lin Feng in the heart of resentment. The face immediately dropped. Reveal the devilish smile of the bent. You're too cocky. Rely on alone. You can't do anything, my lord. Suddenly right now. It's easy to feel the back. At the same time, there was a loud explosion. I can't wait to turn my head to this one. With a sound, the twins fell into each other. The grounds tend to be astonished. Try to bring people to push back. Wait until your body is stable. Looking down at the palms. Not from the silent resentment. Strong toxicity is the person of the pharmacy. She looked up at the person who had just arrived, just as her guess. The one who came was Van Sun, a poisonous and demonic dragon. The entire village saw someone come to help. Instant fun out face. The devil is finally here. If you slow down one more step. This time the Lord is great. Ha ha ha. Fei Tian Han Fuang. Now it's 2 fights. Are you sure you won both of us? The facility tends to silently cry unwell. Your power has just progressed. 1-to-1 with 6 long is completely possible. No more than this hour. She alone has to face 2 people. There's also a poison in there. The surgeon sighed for 2 hours. This is a little tricky. But right now, behind her came the sound of laughing ha ha ha. It is also the 6th longest. 2 fights, you're not ashamed. Let's just take 3-2. By the sound of looking back, people saw 6 people coming. There are the 2 most powerful disciples of the 7 families. 2 of the 6 oldest are also among them. The people who come are the potential ones. The so long, the sword and the sword are led by heaven. It's coming. Stopping the incense, looking towards the ordinary. Hold on a moment. Pluck up the courage to come next to the bright. Miss, you are not wrong. Is that shit is often embarrassed, smiling, nodding. In my eyes I don't understand. You and this lady don't know each other. I suddenly care what she does. So, but when I look at the ring in this lady's hand, she has a little bit of an eye. I think most people have one too. Muttered quietly, startled. That ring is. That's our silent Lu ring. Not even waiting for the answer to stop. Thank God for quickly reaching out to reveal another ring. Stop glancing at him. Hurry up, miss, don't get me wrong. The 2 of us have nothing. This is a relic that Juo Dai gave us. A then Ra is the divergence that often nods softly. On the face appeared real jealousy. Most likely, how many years have you been lost? I never gave her anything. The tendency to, of course, I also heard the words of the wind. There's a little bitterness in my heart. There is no turning back. That year he left. Nothing left for her. Not even the face. She and I spent a few peaceful days together. He gave his life to you. Also used to be married. There is nothing left for her. A little regret she doesn't have. Just leave. Long march to the side of the city. Shoulder to shoulder with her, towards the opposite too. Set into AI is willing to compare with the lower. You don't need to act. Just give me those 2. Not waiting for them to move forward. Goddess Grace came in front of them. Martial arts bearing. 2 eyes bring Han Kuang shot towards the opposite. Long Van Onion sweating. Look at the person in front of you for an hour. This fighter's disease is back again. In fact, he also seems trustworthy. It is worth relying on. The whole world looked at the situation, a little lost, muttered to the demonic strict. Why should I run away? Suddenly there was a loud laugh. A photo body in a gray shirt appeared laughing for 2 hours. Ha ha ha. It's not 2BA matches, it's 3BA matches. The Lord said no wrong. The 6th longest phoenix really has to endure early. The one who came is the other one in the 6 dragons. Long Yu Vu-san. My face cracked and laughed for an hour. Hey ha ha ha, that's why we fought. Are we afraid of you? Before the fight, there was a little difference. Currently, except for the most terrifying monster in 6 long. The most Phoenix is the Heavenly Kingdom. They're all here now. The other 3 are also serious about fighting. Dare not despise the enemy. Shenyang slowly drew his sword. Turned towards to people who were inclined to say, "Don't you too? These 3 guys, let me deal with them. Can you please be alone?" He was so nervous to say. In the eyes of the sky, there is a steady ray. Definitely say, if those 3 guys can't even deal with it, how can we fight? Name Hong Fu Than Thing Kier. Thanks to the other 2, I don't care. But please let me deal with it, Yu Shan. Long march 1 step forward. The base face says, looking for Long Yu and Yu Min cup of gratitude for many years. You can't borrow someone else's hand to solve it. Hey ha ha, very well, I also want to teach. Look at the power of your potential. How strong is the long-term potential? Do we deserve to be treated with such respect? Yu Vu-sun laughed loudly. 1 hour. They are not afraid to face the dragon directly. In the interim, the battle between the 2 sides was very tense. That's right now. A loud shout came out, stop hand. Lifting according to the scream for bodies immediately appear. Prevent the 2 sides from fighting. People see people coming. The eyelids can't help trembling. The 4 tigers. 4 adopted children of the lonely war. The old man looked around. I looked at everyone coldly and loudly. The lone marshal has a restraining order. The house, they are not allowed to fight each other inside the city. Van Long, if the 7 families are also here, I hope you comply with the ban. Right now, the loudest scream of all time was from the sea. Who is your foot doing that? 3CA name Lam Fulfeng. The sea has not yet spoken. Often have calmly spoken out. Let the 4 leaders be our masters. That needs to be said. Dare to hurt our family. I don't want to live anymore. Lonely girl Fireherd immediately turned to her alone roar CA. 3 shut up. But he hasn't finished yet. Lone Miss Fong has screamed cut. Aggressively glanced at him. Finally, look at the people. I hope today's story ends here. If you don't wait for the marshal to show up. I'm afraid it's not that easy. Everyone who heard it said yes in their heart. They still have to respect the Angel of War. One of the 4 pillars of war. Lin Feng shrugged his shoulders and laughed out loud. I will not be able to teach you today. It's a little unfortunate. Then, waiting for the final battle of our 7 families. I'll see you later. The rest of you look at each other as well. In the eyes of a piece of strategy. The woman who saw this scene sighed. Finally, look at the lost sea. Consider his injury. He sighed and said, I don't blame you. I understand the idea of shaking my head and saying no. I completely understand that the CA takes the whole thing seriously. Hear this word. Lonely Maple cannot help but show up TIA reluctantly. A little guilty. The bullied boy couldn't show up to help. What else is he? He was alone all year round. He knows the orders like sun. He can't. If you do this, you have to hide from the sea. Why hasn't it been resolved yet? And suddenly, at this moment, a dull sound came. Like the sound of a gill. To make others dare not do against fate. Everyone looked through it together. The most terrifying monster in 6 years. King Long of Heaven. Hong Fu Than Thien. Lord, this is what happened. The wind rushed to his side. He looked like a hunting dog saying a few words. The King of Heaven nodded. Face calm. Towards everyone slowly speaking up. If that mortal doesn't show up, just kill all the homeless people. Except 295 terrifying power of the Hong Fu Than Thien. Everyone in a startled glance looked at him. That's it. He intends to bypass the ban of the lone warrior. I want to cover all the homeless. He is alone in front of him. Shout out to the prince. The marshal's order. You are not allowed to fight on your own. Not even waiting for him to finish. The Holy Father coldly interrupted. Fight on your own. It is used to describe two forces. They have equal power. You guys don't even deserve to fight me. Everything we do is just erasing. It doesn't count as disobeying orders. Everyone who heard this took a breath of cold air. No tiger is the scariest monster 6 long. That's a big gun. Even the face of a lone warrior. I don't respect his face either. I want to be against the order. I've been waiting for this moment for 15 years. But right now, God's grace suddenly came. The sword in the hand came out of the shell. He screamed for an hour, attacked towards the holy kingdom of heaven. Not 09 consciousness of heaven. 15. Hong Fu Than Thien raised eyebrows with cold contempt. Sorry to speak up like that. It's a waste of time. Calmly raise your hand in response. It's up to a judge. But this just came out. It hit the chest of heaven. I can't even react. The sky has been blown out. Spitting out a big sip of blood. Thank God for seeing this scene. I was in a hurry to scream BA. Hong Fu Than Thien's stuffing mouth pleased. It's like smashing a fly with contempt. Take a deep breath. And everyone was stunned. Even if he is called. They are monsters, but they are the 6 most powerful. It can vary to this extent. It's a trick he can only use. You can fly the sky. He is, of course, the king's monster. The scariest person in the 6 longest phoenix. On the contrary, there are 3 people who look at this scene. Laughed coldly. The Holy Spirit is more powerful. They're even more excited. 3 more people believe in him now. Looks like they followed the right people. She bit her lips on her sweaty forehead and said, Hong Fu Than Thien, you have to think carefully about the consequences of today's work. A little bit of a nod, Hong Fu slowly walked over. The cold face says you are safe. I will not take the lives of your 5 tigers. Anyway, I have to respect the marshal's lonely face a little too. As long as you don't. He certainly will not go to the king. We're not risking our lives. But the Miss Stray's head fell. The old man probably won't fill it out. Everyone's face immediately stopped. Cold sweat appears on the face. He calculated so maliciously. As far as the strange body is concerned, he also holds it very well. This time, if you don't show up, I'm afraid it's difficult to solve. Listen to here. Sky dance for tiger immediately transparent Hong Fu Than Thien. He wanted to chase the lost man to the end. Miss Lam turned her head and looked confused and often said, Miss Lost, run and find the marshal. As long as you get to him, you'll be safe. Often unconsciously frown. He looked anxiously at the sea and said that Van Hai let it. She seems to know her mind. Miss Lam said, rest assured. Van Hai, the 5th son of the widow. Name Hong Fu Than Thien Kier. I dare not do anything to him. We won't stop this monster for long. You go. The woman looked at her to reassure her. Don't worry, go. Often a little hesitant, still not moving. At this moment, he stopped running to pull her hand. I want to leave the world with you. You always said I was a burden. I now save his daughter's life. Let's see if he can say thank you. She used to look at her like an angel. The corn in front of me suddenly melts. May you also relax and leave. Lin Feng looked at the back of the 2 people laughing.